Hello, everyone. Kanisha Grayson, founder and CEO of The Art of Applying, here with another amazing client. Today we have Lola here to share her story, her great news, her advice, and encouragement for all of you. Hi, Lola.
Hi.
It is so nice to be here with you today. I'm so excited to be looking at your smiling face. So tell us what we're celebrating today and why you are smiling and so happy.
So I recently got acceptances to all the top schools that I wanted to go to. So University of Chicago, I got with 10,000 scholarship, and I got accepted into Georgetown, and I got accepted into American University with a 40% tuition scholarship.
Fantastic. Wow. So Lola, did you get into all of your schools?
So far, yeah. I'm still waiting to hear back from Berkeley.
Okay.
But my top two choices, which were Georgetown and American, I got into, so I'm satisfied with those.
No, that's why you're moving to DC. That's amazing. So let's revisit. So Chicago gave you, Harris gave you $10,000. That's per year?
Yeah.
Okay, so wow. Okay, and then walk me through the money again. So that was Chicago.
Well, American University gave me 30,000, which is about 40 to 45% of tuition.
Okay, so per year, so that's $60K. Awesome.
30,000 over 2 years. American University tuition for 2 years is actually pretty low compared to
very good. Okay, understood. Good. Wow. And those are the two schools that gave you money.
Yes.
Okay, and then we also got into Georgetown, and then also.
No, I'm waiting. So I'm waiting to hear back from Berkeley and also George Washington too.
George Washington. So we're waiting to hear back from Berkeley and George Washington. Yeah. We got into Chicago, American, and Georgetown. So no money from Georgetown?
No, I didn't get any money.
Okay, well, we can, as I mentioned before the call, we can always talk about, if you want to, we can talk about how to ask for some money from Georgetown. Awesome. I'm so excited. I would love to hear who the first people you told were and how you celebrated.
So I told my dad first. I was actually with my aunt and my sister and my dad when I got the scholarship offer from American. And I saw the email there. I was like, congratulations on your merit aid. And I opened it. And so we were all having lunch. So we all just celebrated together. And then once I heard from Chicago and Georgetown, my dad was the first one to know. So we were just very excited. I got a bottle of wine. I celebrated after all that hard work paid off. So it was really, really, really nice to have that.
Wonderful. I'm so happy. Okay, so Lola, talk to us. How did you find the art of applying?
So I was actually originally going to go to law school. Like when I joined the art of applying, I was going to go to law school. And then I had the 60-minute call with you, and I took, you told me to take one of the personality tests. I don't remember which one it was. And basically the results came out and you suggested that I look into Masters of Public Policy because I wasn't certain that I wanted to be a lawyer, but I knew I wanted to do work with the immigrant community because I'm Mexican American and I come from a family of immigrants. So I wasn't sure that I wanted to be a lawyer, and I just figured law school would be the right choice to do whatever ended up I wanted to do. So I looked into the Masters of Public Policy degree. I had never heard of it before. You had mentioned it. And I was absolutely in love with it. I loved the degree. I loved how you could go from nonprofits to the public sector to the private sector. Just because I wasn't entirely sure where I wanted to be. I really liked that it gave me a lot of flexibility. So before that, I was searching for law schools every day and just how to get into law school, what I should do, what are the right steps to take, how to study for the LSAT. And then I just got an ad from the Art of Applying on Facebook.
Okay.
So I clicked on it and I just read about all the success stories and everything. And I was like, I think I should look into this because I'm not a very good test taker. I get really bad anxiety when it comes to standardized testing. So I was really, really worried about the LSAT. So that's like initially why I ended up joining, just because I wasn't sure how to make my application look strong, knowing that I was probably not going to have a strong LSAT score.
Understood.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Facebook ads work.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm curious, there's no reason you would remember this, but do you have any idea what picture it was? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it was a picture. It was like 4 or 5 or 6 like Black women against like a wall. It was really like fashionable and stuff. So I was like, I'm just gonna click on it. It looks cute.
Yes, fantastic. I'm so glad you remember the photo.
No, I do, because everybody just looked so like on
yeah,
point.
so yeah, we worked really hard to pick photos that I feel like reflect the diversity of the kinds of people that we work with. And I'm so glad that it appealed to you. I'm so glad you saw it. That's so cool. Very cool. And wow. So I just want to say to everyone watching this video, Lola, she's mentioning that she and I had a 60-minute call. So what Lola is referring to, she's not talking about the breakthrough call that you have before you're a client, and when we are trying to see if we can help you and you're trying to see, if we're a good fit for you. So Lola had a breakthrough call, and we're going to talk about that. And then after her breakthrough call, every client has an assessment call. So I do them, and then we also have assessment call coaches. Actually, Lola, your consultant, is now one of the assessment call coaches. And so we lay out this like big game plan for our clients. So you get a minimum test score, a target test score, an exceptional test score that you should aim for, customized to you. We talk about which schools, and it sounds like we actually changed the entire trajectory of your application process.
Thank God.
Yeah, right? Like, I mean, a very important part of our job at the Art of Applying is making sure that it's the right time for someone to go to grad school, that they have a really strong chance of getting into the schools they want to go to, that they know about different schools. And sometimes it could even be steering people to different degrees. I don't know if you watched the video of our client, Carla, but yeah, your story reminds me a lot of Carla. Carla is like first generation Mexican American, was coming. She was so focused on business school, and I kept being like, I really think that you might be interested in policy school. She applied with the Art of Applying to business school, didn't hit her minimum score, didn't get in anywhere, but then applied the next year for policy school and got into USC with a full ride.
Yeah.
But I would love for y'all to connect, because I feel like you did.
Actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we connected. I emailed her, and she gave me some advice on USC, because I was considering USC as well. And we actually chatted over the phone for a bit. So it was really nice to hear from her.
Yeah, look at the community. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about the community and the Art of Applying too. So let's rewind to the breakthrough call. When we invited you and said, thanks for your application form for a breakthrough call, you're invited to a breakthrough call. It's an hour long. Did you bring anyone to your breakthrough call? And what did you think it was going to be like? And what was it actually like?
So yeah, I brought my dad to the breakthrough call. And I wasn't entirely sure what I was expecting. I honestly thought maybe it was just going to be like a sales pitch of like why I should just do the Art of Applying. And it wasn't that at all. It was more seeing like if it was going to be a good fit for me, and if I was going to be a good fit for the program. Like, it wasn't just like, we're just going to sell you this because we want to, get all this money, whatever. Like, it was more like, it was important that I also felt that I was going to get something out of it, and that they, like, it was mutual. And so I really enjoyed that about the breakthrough call. I felt like I don't know, like, it was just, they were really getting to know me and making sure that I knew what I wanted in terms of, going to graduate school or law school at the time. So yeah.
Okay. And a lot of times people are confused when you suggest that you bring your partner or your parent to the call. Talk to me about how you felt when we said, we really think you should bring one of your parents to the call if they're going to have anything to do with your thought process, if you're going to want to consult them, if you want their blessing, or if they're helping pay. What did you think about that? And then How do you feel about the fact that your dad did join you on the call after all?
I just thought I actually like kind of thought it was like really, really cool how y'all suggested that I bring somebody with me, because my dad was going to be, on this journey with me throughout law school and grad school, in a lot of different aspects. So I thought it was just really nice that it wasn't just about me, it was about, everybody else that my decision to go to grad school or law school was going to affect. And I mean, my dad was happy to be there too. He felt important also, so it was really nice.
He is important. Good. What would you say to someone who's like, I don't know, like I'm really close to my mom and my dad, but like they don't speak English or they don't know about grad school. I think it'll be a waste of their time. What would you say to encourage them to bring them?
It was a very like relaxed like conversation. I mean, any questions that me or my dad asked, like he answered it like very quickly. Like there wasn't any pressure or anything, and he was just very understanding of the questions or concerns that we might have had, and it was a very like open environment with that call. So definitely wouldn't suggest not having the breakthrough call, like if you got to that point.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so as you know, when we are 100% confident that we can help you, we're like, okay, let's do this, Lola. This is the tuition. And then it's like, oh, that's the tuition. Talk to us about just how it felt making that investment in yourself. Was there any fear? What did you think about it? How hard was it for you to make the investment? And just kind of what was that like for you?
So me and my dad like sat and talked about it, and we were just like, we both knew that I was very concerned about me not being a very good test taker and like how that would affect my ability to get into law school after going through all of those months of LSAT prep or just getting into law school and not getting any money. And so we just figured like my dad or my mom didn't go to college, let alone like grad school. And so we were both just kind of very unsure about the process and a little bit worried. And we just felt that this would really be, like you said, an investment. And it ended up being an investment. Like I got into all the schools I wanted and I got money from one of my top choices. So we just kind of came to the conclusion that having this support throughout this difficult process would end up benefiting me in the long run. And it did.
Yes. And we're always certain that it will.
Yeah.
With us, but I'm so glad that it did.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's now talk about your experience in the program. What was it like working with your consultant?
I loved my consultant. I really, really, really appreciated the fact that she was also like Mexican American, Latina, had very similar experiences to myself, and she is also a public policy student. And so she was always just very responsive, answered all the questions I had truthfully with, more than what I asked for, which is something that I really valued. Like if I had one question, she would just go all out and just answer to the best of her ability. Yeah, I have absolutely no complaints about my consultant, any of the other consultants that I worked with on like the Q&A calls or the test prep calls. Like they were all really, really great and very supportive and just ready to be there to help you.
Awesome. Yeah, I was really excited when we paired you two together. Yeah, and Lola's consultant is actually a former client of the Art of Applying.
Right.
So it's just so cool to see someone go from being a client to getting into school to now working for the company. And now it's like Inception, right? And then she's like fantastic. Great. And so one thing we talked about was how you connected with one of our former clients. You connected with Carla. Talk to everybody watching about the community aspect of being in the application accelerator and just
yeah.
you expect that. What was it like and how did it help you?
Yeah, it was really nice to be able to just like ask questions not only to your consultants, but to other clients in the program. Like I really, really liked that because we're all kind of in the same boat. Like we're all nervous, we're worried, we're stressed. And so it's like knowing that you have like a handful or more like of other people who are going to this through the same experiences and probably have the same questions that you do. Like, you're not the only one. And that to me was just like lifted a big weight off my shoulders, because there was just so many other people who were going through the same difficult and stressful process of applying. And yeah, I got to connect with Carla, and she was so helpful. I sent her an email and she emailed back, and then we set up a call, and she just answered all my questions and gave me so much advice, especially like on her experiences at USC. So that was really, really helpful, and it just made this experience like a lot more like easygoing, because there was just so many resources that I could use.
And so let's see, I would love for you to just share a little bit more about your personal and professional background. You've already shared that you come from a family of immigrants. Tell us more about that. Tell us more about your, just who is Lola?
Yeah, so my family comes from Mexico, northern Mexico, and we live in Dallas, Texas currently, although most of my family is actually at the border in Brownsville. So yeah, none of my parents went to college or grad school, but I went to high school here in Allen, and then I just felt like I really needed to get out of Texas. So and like broaden my the people who I met and stuff. So I went to college at Hofstra University on Long Island. It's not a very well-known university, but I had a pretty good GPA there. I had a 3.82. I was really involved in clubs and community organizing, like locally. I did a few internships. And so I had like a year between when I graduated and when I was going to go to grad school. Okay. And so I didn't have a lot of full-time experience, and that worried me, because as I was looking at the MPP and what schools look for, they really do value like full-time experience. Like a few of them had mentioned that. And so that made me a little bit worried, but I knew with my consultant, like as long as I can, build a more comprehensive application and not just worry about like, do I have full-time experience, or am I going to get a good GRE, that I can still have a strong application. And so my GRE, as predicted, was not very good. I got a 148 in quantitative, in the quantitative section, and a 153 on the verbal the first time.
Yeah,
and
so you definitely did not hit your minimum.
Yeah, did not hit my minimum, anywhere close. And then I actually did worse on the second time, because I had a panic attack. So I was like, this is the last chance I have. So I was really stressed, and I was really, really, really worried. But I came to a point like in November, early November, to where I was like, either I continue putting, so much effort into my test, or I take some weight off of that and just focus on my essays and focus on, the other ways that I can make my application strong. And so I just put so much effort into, my essays, did a lot of rounds of editing with my consultant. So yeah, didn't have a very strong test score or full-time experience background, but with those essays, I managed to get in.
It worked out. And how does it feel to not even hit the minimum test score that I set for you, and to get into all your schools you've applied to, and 2 of them with money?
I was just overwhelmed. Like I almost couldn't believe it, because I was just so sure, because the MPP specifically does have a lot of quantitative analysis in it. And I had taken like one math class in undergrad, and I did poorly on the quantitative section, and I had no, quantitative experience in my internships. So I was worried. I really was worried. And so to get into, top schools like Harris and Georgetown and American, I was just like, I couldn't believe it. And then to get money, with that, I was so overwhelmed with joy and just like surprised, but yeah, very excited.
You did the work. And one of my things with the art of applying is that you are more than a test score, right?
Mhm.
So many people really spend so much time on the GRE or the GMAT or LSAT or whatnot, trying to get that perfect score, and then they cheat themselves out of having enough time to tell their story.
Right.
So I'd love for you to just talk about what that experience was like of working with your consultant. I
Yeah.
don't know if you use the writing center that we have, the weekly Q&A calls, just everybody, just how your essays got from blank sheet of paper to something you're really
Yeah.
proud of.
So I was like also very worried about the essays because I would, consider myself a pretty good writer. I was a history major, so like all my assignments were essays and I managed to do really well. But when it came to the personal statements, I just had no idea, what these universities are looking for, because you can be a good writer, but if you're not giving them what they're looking for in an essay, then you're, not going to probably get in. So um, my essays went from like just throwing thoughts down on a paper to this beautiful, polished essay that managed to get me into all my top schools. Um, each essay went through a good amount of rounds of editing with my consultant, and I did use the writing center a lot. Those were on Sundays, and they really helped a lot because it allowed me to get another set of eyes on my essays, which I really liked because, the more people see your essay and edit it, the better it's going to get. And I did submit it to the Q&A calls a couple times as well. So I got another pair of eyes to read those, and I just think going through all those different rounds of editing really, really managed to strengthen my essays and make them as polished as possible.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. So for those of you watching this video, if you have not binge watched all our other videos, you may not know which calls Lola is referring to, but in the Application Accelerator, we have a weekly Q&A call actually run by a former client who is now a consultant on the team. So that you can just bring any questions you want, get your stuff live edited. We also have a weekly Writing Center call, which is actually run by someone who used to work in the Writing Center at Tufts University, and she works for the Art of Applying, runs our Writing Center. So it's a group call where you and the other applicants can come and bring your essays or resume, have them live edited. And you can also just see other people's materials get edited, which I think is really helpful sometimes. And then we also have test prep calls once a week where it's kind of open office hours. We can bring questions about the test. You just upload your question ahead of time or bring your question live. You can also talk about things like test anxiety and things like that. So those are the calls that Lola's referring to. And I'm curious, Lola, what was your experience like working with the mindset coaches that we have on staff and the calls you get with them?
Yeah, those were really great also. I did mention a lot, like just being really stressed and worried about the tests. And my mindset coach just really worked with me to help me take the level of stress off of that and just start, putting it elsewhere and just bringing it down a notch. So it's like, like you said, you're more than just your test score. There's other things that you have that make you a strong applicant. So yeah, definitely really enjoyed those mindset calls as well. You have like 3 of them, and then you have like the monthly mindset call. So those are really, really nice.
Awesome. And let's see what else I want to ask you about. I always like to have, if we can, our clients whose are, the children of immigrants to speak in their language to the parents of other people. So I assume that you speak Spanish. If you're open, you don't?
No, I know. I mean, like I can, but it's not.
But that's not like I can see the terror. I can see the terror creeping in your face. I'm like, I wonder what's going on with Lola.
I knew it was coming.
You're like, she's gonna ask me to speak.
No, but I'm planning on staying with my family in the Valley for 3 months to actually learn.
That'd be super cool.
So
yeah, and
I'm not one of my family who can't.
Yeah, and I'm not a native Spanish speaker, but I speak Spanish now, so you can learn really quickly, especially if you're in a place where it's like, this is our language. Yeah, exactly. Actually, Lola, I grew up in a Mexican neighborhood in Austin, so I just grew up hearing Spanish, and then I took it in school. But yeah, No worries there. That was, I love it. I was like, why does she look so worried? Wonderful. No worries at all. But what would you say in English to the parents who might be like, I don't know about this stuff. I didn't go to grad school. Is this real? Can this work for, I think my son is smart, but like, surely this person is special. This can't be real, that you can have a really low test score and still get into your dream schools with money. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I would just say that, like, especially, like I said, coming from a family of immigrants, coming from people who didn't attend college, like, it really, really pays off to just have a support group, like, throughout this entire process. Like, from when you start studying your test, when you start writing your essays, to like everything, it just, having that support is just, it's unparalleled. Like, you're not going to get that, with your parents or with your family or with your friends, because they're just there with you every step of the way. So definitely consider looking into the art of applying for sure to help with this.
Mm-hmm. And Lola, talk to us about, now that you're going to policy school, sort of what the dream outcome would be. Like, what's going to happen now, according to you, if all goes well in your life and career, now that you have gotten into all of your schools so far?
That I would start off by working on Capitol Hill. I was interning with with a congresswoman from my district in Flushing, New York. And I really enjoyed that internship, and now I'm anticipate interning at her district office, or her DC office at the Capitol. So really want to do policy work, legislative analysis work, and then maybe one day run for, local public office. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, Lola, I am so proud of you. I'm so excited for you. It is a pleasure. It's an honor to have been a part of your journey. You're still with us all the way through May 1st. So if anything pops up, like, we're here for you. And just thank you for sharing your story. I think it's going to encourage and inspire a lot of people.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for watching our video. For more videos just like this, make sure you click subscribe. And if you want to work with us on your graduate school applications, visit us at theartofapplying.com or click on the link below in the description.